I just wanted to briefly address, we didn't post an episode June 1st, which we were meant to, and it was because of the Uvalde school shooting. We had recorded an episode previously, long before the shooting, discussing basically school shootings, gun laws, things like that. It's a pretty lengthy episode, a pretty serious episode, but I felt that putting it out right after the shooting could be perceived as disrespectful, and also might seem like we were clout chasing a bit, which was not the case at all. So we decided to just hold off on it, and that will come out after this episode, probably either August 1st, most likely August 1st.
I just want to say, let's take a brief moment of silence to give our respects to the lives lost during the school shooting.
Yes.
You know, my deepest condolences to the loved ones, to the families and friends and anyone affected by this. I'm sending my love here from Robert's apartment to wherever you may be. And I just hope that things do progress, things do get better. The storms do not last forever. And trust me when I say, I love you all. Okay, so moment of silence. All right.
All right, that was a good episode.
Thank you.
Good job. All right.
All right, cool.
Wrap
So
it up.
I get to go home
Let's
now?
go.
Sign
yeah.
the check.
All right.
The other thing I'd like to address just very quickly is obviously Chris is not here, right?
Yeah.
He is in San Francisco. He's studying for the bar. He should be back in August. But just for the time being, it is just us, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, shit, that's not unfortunate. Good news.
Fortunately.
We have more space at the table now,
Yeah,
so that's
that's-
pretty
yeah,
That's
that
a
is
big
nice.
ass
Pretty
man.
doing leg day today.
Big ass thighs out the way. Shit.
I know. It really is a problem.
Go ahead. I'm gonna let you get it started today.
All right, very well. So, going off of everything we were just talking about, we do have a bit of a serious topic to talk about today. We're going to go back a little bit. I'm sure everybody saw the Oscars and all that drama that went down.
Mm-hmm.
So today we are here talking about the slap heard around the world, saw around the world. And we're going to kind of just dive into it, see, what our points of view is as far as like, was Will Smith in the right? Was he in the wrong? Did Chris Rock go a little too far? And so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
I do know that I have, actually both of you put up something, like you guys both responded to it like shortly after, like if not the next day.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to hear your guys' point of view. Robert, we will start with you, my friend.
All right. Just to give some context, the reason we haven't responded to this earlier is because we actually did a batch of recordings like the day before the slap happened.
That's true.
If you guys remember.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like, we recorded, we got our episodes done. I was like, all right, that was pretty good. And then I go watch the Oscars the next day, and I'm like, fuck. We just missed the topic of the century that we could have talked about on the podcast. I was so mad. No, I think one of the interesting things, a lot of people talked about it at the time, and one of the nice things about waiting a bit and being able to talk about it is we're able to see what the aftermath was. We know everything that happened, and we can talk about it as a complete story.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Rather than waiting for somebody to respond, kind of doing updates at the time. Like, I remember when it came out, we didn't get really a response from Chris Rock for probably a month.
Yeah.
Until he really acknowledged what happened and spoke about it. And now we're a couple months past it, and we can see all of the aftermath, and we can discuss it in totality, which I think is a different take than most people have had.
Yeah.
But even though you said to start with me, I think maybe the best way to structure this would be to start with Ty, because I know Ty has a list of things, and he doesn't have to go through all of them, but he had a bunch of things that happened to Will Smith that I think he felt, and correct me if I'm wrong, but may have been over the top. And then we can discuss, if we agree or disagree, but it might be a good starting point.
All right.
Take us away, Ty.
Indeed, I will. No farts needed.
Tiberius the Black.
So,
Why? You know what? No.
Yeah, don't engage.
Keep going.
So it's no surprise to everybody that this slap was a big deal. It caught everybody by surprise. I remember just scrolling on Twitter, and that was all I seen was slap, slap, slap. it got to a point where people started turning into memes. I'm like, y'all are all bitches, but this is funny. This is super funny. You know, and then slowly but surely, like Robert mentioned, like as more of the truth began to get revealed about the situation, it was brought to my attention that one thing that bugs me the most about the slap is that Jada Pinkett Smith didn't even ask for it. You know, she not only did she not ask for it, but she totally disregarded it. She didn't side with her husband at all, even though her husband was trying to take initiative to take a stand for her. I remember watching the video in full from the moment Chris Rock said the joke up into the slap, and probably a little bit afterwards, and you know, Chris Rock had made a little joke about Jada Pinkett Smith like being like G.I. Jane because she had her little ball thing going on. I guess it wasn't known to many of us, like especially myself, because I live under a rock sometimes. I didn't know that Jada had a little sickness going on, which in turn resulted in her going bald. Yeah, and I didn't know.
It's worth saying that like 90% of people didn't know.
Yeah.
Right? So the likelihood of that being an intentional jab at somebody's illness is very small.
Right. So it's like, you know, no one knew. It's not like she just putting her business out like that. I mean, the only business that we know is how she just openly cheating on Will, which is pretty stupid. Like, you can go as far as to say that, but you can't tell us about your ailments before you go to a fucking Oscars? Okay.
In regard to that, she does have her own, like, I don't want to say social media, but she has put it up on her side of it. She's talking about it. Yeah. Granted, I don't think everybody sees it. I don't know if Chris Rock knew about it. So she was open about it, and she was open that it was affecting her. However, yes, I agree.
It wasn't hidden. My point when I say 90% is most people didn't know about it. Not that it wasn't there, you know. Sure, if you're researching her. Yeah. But that's not what most people are doing, especially before telling a joke.
Right, okay. All right, you get a little bit of slack, Jada, bitch. You get a little bit of slack.
He's going after all of them.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just saying, like,
he's a woman hater today.
Not all the women, just certain ones irritating. Because it's like, why are you doing this?
You can't join, you're a woman.
Oh, what? Never. Okay, I am a father of a daughter. I love women. Okay.
You didn't have
something like this last time.
You also didn't have a choice in the gender of your child. It wasn't like, oh, do I want a son or do I want a daughter?
You also didn't really have a choice on whether you wanted to bring her now or later on down the road. You kind of just happened.
Look, Robert has things to do. You need to stay on topic. Okay.
I feel like I'm being used as an excuse.
Stay on topic. So all I'm saying is, we didn't know. But I feel like it was just a big thing for Will Smith to try to take that stance up for his wife, you know. Yes, it was, in my opinion, it was blown out of proportions. You know, you didn't have to get up on a live public, you know, show that everybody in America can see to get up and try to publicly humiliate Chris Rock. But in turns, I do understand that he was trying to take that initiative to defend his wife and his relationship. You know, based on what we do know about Will and Jada thus far, they had a rocky ass relationship, you know, and maybe in the back of Will's head, he's just trying to take those steps to save his relationship. Yeah. You know, like his kids are grown, they're doing his own thing. Maybe after a long day of acting for, I don't know, 7 different shows, movies, and whatnots in a day, maybe he just wants to come back home to some peace of mind, which would include his wife. Yeah. So maybe he's trying to take that initiative to save his relationship before shit gets worse. And I just don't think that it's fair that his wife didn't back him up in doing this. Like, you can see in the video that as he's walking back, she got this ugly face like, oh my God, he really just did that. Why? Like, okay, bitch, he did it for you. For you.
Actually, that's not... I'd like to argue with you a bit there. I disagree with you completely, but even setting that aside, right, just based on her facial reaction, right after the slap, there's a video of her laughing. She was fully in support of it until everybody else said no, that was wrong.
Really?
And then she flipped.
That's even worse.
Yeah, that's so like if we're gonna I think Jada is the worst. And so I agree with you that that what she did is fucked up, but I think it's even more fucked up than that because she really was just kind of had this evil sense of like, oh yeah, you got what was coming to you. And then as soon as there was public backlash, she's like, no, never mind, fuck Will. You know, and I have a huge problem with what Will Smith did, but I think that is super two-faced.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Will Smith was in the wrong, 100%. Don't get me wrong, I understand if Chris Rock said something that went too far. Okay, most comedians do. Most comedians go too far. However, I will admit that as soon as Chris Rock noticed that joke did not land and they didn't like it, he's like, okay, moving on. We're not going to hit that again. We're going to keep moving forward. Mm-hmm. And then Will Smith coming up and doing what he did is like, I understand his mindset probably for a long time has not been right. Mm-hmm. I understand that his mindset has been probably all kinds of jumbled up and confused and either angry or pissed off. And yeah, I can see exactly where it's coming from. And if it comes from a place where it's supposed to be home and it's supposed to be safe, you know, per se, I can see where that can even affect them. I mean, it can affect anybody. Right. It can affect anybody going either way. Mm-hmm. And obviously you could just tell that it finally boiled up and he did something that he thought was in the right and it wasn't. But I agree, it was even more fucked up that she didn't back him up. I guess he fucked up. And it's okay for her to say, like, yeah, he messed up, but I'm going to stand by his side. And she completely just left him out in the cold. And
right.
Yeah. Women get very upset because men can turn a good woman bad, but the same thing happens the other way. Women can really twist the guy's mind with the lack of support, the lack of trust, you know, the insecurities, all different kinds of things. It can really twist the guy's mind and he can make the wrong decisions. And if you don't got somebody to back you up, well, fuck, that's supposed to be your wife.
Yeah. I'm giving George a hand clap because I don't know if y'all can tell, but he was definitely trying to pick his words wisely. I can hear the shakiness in his voice like, damn, I don't want to be like Ty and get canceled.
No, I agree. I think the one caveat to what you said is I think...
Look...
It means exception.
Exception.
Right, okay, cool. Because I speak Ebonics.
But no, like you were saying. Right. You were saying you need somebody to support you. I think a good partner won't always support you if they think you're wrong. And so what bugged me about that situation and what we touched on earlier is like it would be okay if she didn't support him and it was just she actually disagreed with what he did.
Yeah.
Right? But because it was initially I supported you and then I took it away, that's what makes her a bad partner.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's, it's okay to call somebody on their bullshit. You should do that in a relationship.
I agree.
But it's like not okay to do that just because you want the public favor.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. And you don't want the same backlash that your husband is getting. Like that's stupid.
I remember you brought up the list. There's a bunch of different production companies, a bunch of different movies, a bunch of different people that backed out.
I have it here.
If you'd like to read a few of them, go ahead.
Will Smith is devastated. Point number 1, 10 years of Oscar ceremony was voted. Or vetoed. I think, vetoed. Okay, cool. I can't read. Second bullet point. His biographical film was canceled. Third bullet point. Bad Boys 4 was canceled. Fourth one. The Fast and Loose movie he was shooting for Netflix has also been canceled. And the fifth one, the movie I Am Legend 2 no longer wants it. And they offered it to Michael B. Jordan. Like, damn, that one hurt the most. Yeah, like, come on, man. Over this damn slap, it just... I understand, but it just makes me mad because it's like things could have been so much different had the one factor, Jada Pinkett Smith, cooperated. She was the catalyst to me. You know, because going back to the snippet of before the actual slap happened, everybody was laughing at that joke. All I'm saying is that in that moment, you know, there could have been a conversation between both Will and Jada, like, hey, like, I see you didn't laugh. Are you okay? Like, I just didn't really like that joke, you know, but you don't have to make it a big deal. Maybe when we go on break or something, you just pull him aside or I'll talk to him myself. Okay. That way, they both could have sat their asses down. They could have just moved forward. Somewhere down the line, Will could have been like, yo, Chris, let me talk to you, buddy. I know you're a comedian, but that joke didn't really rub my wife the right way. And things could have been so much better. You know, but I feel like the catalyst of all of that was Jada. That's all I'm saying.
I agree, and I think she could have handled it better because any adult should be able to laugh at themselves. But I also and I think that we can go into their whole history and the cheating and the things that she does to embarrass and antagonize Will Smith.
Like an entanglement.
That definitely put him on edge, right? And I'm not saying that she's not guilty of that, but to some extent, right? As an adult, you're responsible for your own actions, right? And so to say, yeah, it's her fault. Yeah, should she have handled it better? Yes. Could she have probably stopped it? Yes. Am I mad at her? Yes. But you know, is he not responsible for the choices he made? Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
And at the same time, when you talk about communication, that's partially his responsibility too, right?
That is
to
fair.
go over and be like, hey, Jada, you know, are you okay? You want me to do something about it? And for all we know, maybe they did. You know, I don't know. Maybe she was like, yeah, go up there and smack him. I don't know. But
I need to hear her side of the story.
I'm sure she's put it out on her fucking bullshit podcast.
Even though I'm still gonna talk shit about her, but I just want to hear her side.
At the end of the day, Will Smith did the slap. So regardless of where his head was, regardless of what happened, he let the situation and his emotions get the best of him.
Yeah.
And he pulled the slap. And so at the end of the day, it's like, all right, man, I get it. I can see you're not in the right place. I can see this is where it's coming from. But you still did what you did, and we can't act like that it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, there was a bunch of actors who actually got very upset and were like, you know, how did they not do anything in the moment? The Oscars. How did they not do anything in the moment? How did they not? And then he still came home or went home with an Oscar. Granted, I know the film that he got it for, and he did an amazing job. But still.
Which film was that?
It was King Richard. He did a great job.
He did, yeah.
He did it. It was a great movie. But yeah, it just showed a lack of a backbone from the organization. It's like, how are you gonna let this happen on live television and not do anything?
Yeah.
So I can see why I think some of I know that list goes on. I think some of it might have been a bit overkill, but I can see where they're like, no, I'm sorry. We're not going to associate with you, at least for now. So they pulled out. Some of them I can see why they did it like in the instant, and others I'm like, okay, bit of an overkill, but hey, consequences are consequences, man. Like if you can't handle it, don't let it get the best of you. You know, do your best to try and keep control or find another way to do it.
Right.
Like you guys said, communication would have been better. Could have easily waited till they had the moment to go backstage and be like, hey, what the hell? He could have easily slapped them behind closed doors. He could have done it behind closed doors. Nobody would have ever known.
Right.
But it would have been less drama, but he decided to do it on live television. It's like, you can't just let that slide. You can't.
That's fair.
You have to, and that goes for anybody. Anybody who would have done anything like that, they should have some sort of punishment, regardless of who they are, what they've done, what they just won. They got to show more backbone.
And I think to add on to that, everybody talks about it like, you know, it was something that happened and it was embarrassing for Will Smith. And I think that's because of how well Chris Rock handled it. But if we're being honest about it, that was illegal. He assaulted somebody.
Yeah.
Right? And Chris Rock may be a cool guy, and he may have chosen not to press charges, but he absolutely had the right to.
Yeah.
You know, and so there's like, I'm not saying, I don't think people should go to jail for a slap, but legally, they can. And so I think people don't take it maybe as seriously as they should. And then I have I wanted to go through the list because there were a couple of things that I know are not true. Yeah. Just because, and I'm not saying it to discredit anybody, but just because I've seen this go around, you know, and I think it's worth knowing that some of these things are not true. For example, the movie I Am Legend 2 never had him in it. For obvious spoiler reasons, he's dead.
Right.
Like, he couldn't be in it.
Spoilers.
Let's see. His wife's boyfriend is going to take out a book charging a fortune to sell his story. Yeah, that's true, but that was already happening. Like, you know, he was going. Yeah, he was selling his story about the entanglement long before, like, the slap. Let's see. You know, the dramatic series. The dramatic series Bel Air reboot was smashed by criticism. That's true, but that series came out like 4 months before the Oscars and was smashed by criticism.
Yeah, it was already some heat.
And so at this moment, he is in rehab to control his depression and temper tantrums of anger. That's how it ends. And, you know, if that's true, and I don't know that it is, I'm glad.
Yeah.
I think he needs that. And he probably needs space from his wife, too.
Yeah.
But
He needs a force.
all right, so I did want to, before we move on, there was one thing I wanted to talk about because just we haven't talked about it yet with regard to this, which is I just think comedy as a subject matter.
Yeah.
I felt very strongly about this, and I put a whole post on social media about it.
Oh, okay.
And
You know, if Robert posts about it, he's serious.
yeah, because I don't post much. I was really mad at the time.
That was something that took me off guard when you responded or you put something up.
Yeah.
I was like, Robert doesn't put shit up unless it has to do with the podcast or his family, like on a trip or something.
Yeah.
And you put this, I was like, he mad.
Y'all gotta hear this. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I did. You guys hyped it up too much. It's not that good.
I'm just saying.
But I did want to. I'm gonna read it because I won't remember exactly how I felt, and so I figured, you know, this is probably better because we're so detached. In some ways, that's good, right? And we know everything that's happened, but in some ways, it's bad because I can't react as emotionally as I.
Yeah.
Because I don't care as much anymore, you know. But I'll read what I wrote, which I said, I started with, I've always enjoyed Chris Rock's comedy, but his complete grace and class last night turned me into a true fan. The job of comedy has never been, and should never be, to pander to the delicate sensibilities. They are envelope pushers. If you really don't like a joke, then don't laugh. Don't fucking assault a comedian. There's a lot of talk about white privilege, and rightfully so. It's a serious and legitimate issue. However, I don't see people talk about socioeconomic privilege, or put simply, rich privilege, which I'd like to argue is equally important. A less rich or famous man would have been removed from the event immediately. The fact that he wasn't is a travesty, and is honestly quite telling about how we value people in our society. Those with power and money get away with things the rest of us wouldn't dare dream of. However you feel about Will Smith, he's guilty of severely abusing that privilege. And to make matters worse, then all of Hollywood stood by and clapped for him just minutes later. And I think there are a couple things that bother me, right? Like, obviously the rich thing. I went into that pretty detailed.
Yeah,
you did.
But the comedy thing also really bugs me. Because comedy is meant to be, in my opinion, kind of a safe haven. You can say whatever you want, and it's a joke. You know, if I have friends, and I think you've spoken about feeling this way before too, that can't joke around with me or take things too seriously, I won't. They're not my friend. You know, like that's a requirement as a human being to me.
Right.
Yeah.
To be able to not only take a joke, but just be able to enjoy comedy and not take things so seriously. And so when you have a comedian, you invited a comedian, right, to come to the Oscars, to guess what their job is, to make fun of the fucking people at the Oscars. And they do exactly what their job is. Which is make fun, and most of their jokes don't land. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, the Oscar comedians, they're fucking fantastic. They are not. They're terrible.
Right.
Like, half the time, I don't even think any jokes were funny from the entire show. But that's just it's the wrong reaction. He's a comedian. You know what he's there to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? It would be one thing if, I don't know, fucking Leonardo DiCaprio got up there and then said some shit about Jada Pinkett, right? That's one thing. But a comedian goes up there, makes a joke that is clearly intended as a joke about multiple people there. He's not just singling Jada Pinkett out.
Yeah.
He said jokes about like 4 or 5 people at the Oscars. And they all took it, and they all handled it, and the Smiths were the only ones that couldn't. To me, that's a real problem, and I don't know, it pisses the fuck out of me, really. I don't think, if you can't handle that, you don't deserve to be famous. Because the rest of us can handle it. George can sit here and be at his birthday party and ask for a fucking roast.
I did.
This is true.
And he can handle it. And he sits there and he's okay, you know?
It is what it is.
Ty can sit here practically every episode, get made fun of incessantly, especially for having a child. And he survives.
No, I'm just saying, like me and my friends just talking shit on PlayStation. They was like, yeah, this man Ty, he should be a fighting character. I'm like, yeah, my special move gonna be a weak pullout game. So it's like,
but that's exactly my point, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If we're all normal people, we're all younger than these people, and we've been doing this and been okay with it and been able to stand it for years and years and years and years. And all of a sudden, somebody makes a joke about hair, and you can't stand. You shouldn't be at the Oscars. You shouldn't be around comedians. You clearly have no idea what comedy is, and you shouldn't be famous. Like, that's what it comes down to for me. And I found it really frustrating, and I wish I was still in that, like, emotional rage, because I could word it way better and I could care about it way more. But that's just how I felt about the comedy aspect of it. Just taking, like, Will Smith out of it, just anybody. Like, it's an assault on what I believe, and I know it gets said too much, and even Bo Burnham just made fun of it, but on what I believe is a true art form and one of the last safe havens for speaking your mind and it being acceptable. With all the people that get canceled and all the hate on Twitter, you can still go and record a comedy special and you can say whatever the fuck you want. You know, I don't know, it bugged me.
No, I think your feelings for that is 100% valid. And once again, like I agree. You know, the only reason why I have emotional attachment to it is because I care about Will Smith as an actor. We all grew up to him and seeing all the amazing stuff that he's done. So that's where my sympathy for him in the situation comes from. But once again, like you said, if we were to exclude Will Smith from the situation and let it be anybody else, I will be fully on board to your emotions and how y'all felt. And I think if we're assuming that we're done talking about it, I'll drop it. I'll leave it on it at this note. Y'all Smiths need to get together. Y'all got to get it together, okay? Because y'all ain't going to find a lot of people like me that's going to defend y'all and throughout y'all bullshit. And even then, I'm hardly defending y'all. I'm just really saying I don't think it's fair that certain things the way it did, because had y'all been a more mature family, the Smiths would be a powerful family. To me, they already got a lot of stuff going on, you know, like each and every single one of them is special and creative in their own single way. But it's the mere fact that we know of y'all family drama and there's no hiding the family drama. So it's like, get it together, y'all. Get it together.
Before we get going on all that, I promised my cousin I'd give her a shout out. Vanessa, I promise you I'll give you a shout out on the podcast. It's going to be a little bit earlier than what I told you, but here's a shout out. My friends are here. Ty, say what's up to Vanessa.
What up?
That's my cousin.
What's popping?
Robert, say what's up to my cousin.
Hi, Vanessa.
Look, all I'm saying is if your ass fat, congratulations.
Gosh damn it, man. You have a daughter.
That's true. That's true.
I was gonna say some wild shit. I was like, let me stop myself because I'm like,
he was gonna be like, and I'll make another one with Vanessa.
You need to cut this now. We're getting to an end. We're getting to an end. We're not.
All right.
We can't get better from this.
All right. You are right. Along with doing shots, I want to also give a shout out to the entire class of 2022, especially going out to Jacob.
Jacob. Congratulations.
Good job, Jay. Shout out to my play sister, Idea. Shout out to my old co-worker, Essence, and just pretty much everything. Oh, also shout out to my sister, Imani, for getting her master's degree. I'm proud of you. For real, I am.
Yeah, go Imani.
Yes, whenever you're ready to go drinking, I'm ready, okay, sis? So to the entire class of 2022, big shout outs to y'all. Y'all did it. Congratulations. And I pray that more achievements and success stories come your way. All right. Now, are we done? We ready?
I think it's that time.
All right, cool. Did you know that there's robot pigeons? There's robot pigeons that just go around, surveillancing us because the government.
Your phone is a great way to also have surveillance on you.
That's also true.
They have you. Sorry, guys. Sorry, quick little side note.
This dick ain't free.
People, those of you guys, conspiracy theories, those of you guys who are scared of the government finding out where you are and what you're doing, they already got it. They got it. They know where you're at. They know what you're doing. They know what you're talking about. It's there. There's no privacy. Sorry.
Yeah,
It's out the door.
I got implants.
It's okay. Just don't do anything stupid. All right.
Yeah.
Carry on.
From my COVID vaccines, I got implanted.
You got implants?
I got
Yeah, see, when I hear I got implants, that's not what I think.
Oh,
but
you
okay.
thought I had like titty implants?
Yeah, I was like, you need a better doctor.
I went up from a 0 cup to an A cup.
Yeah.
I said butt implants. That would have helped him out, but you know.
Would it?
I mean, like at least like when he sits down, it wouldn't like it'd be like a cushion, be like a pillow, two pillows.
You know, I will go on record as saying I think Ty's ass is fine.
Thank you.
It's not fantastic, but it's good. You know, like it's
not a 10, but it's a 7.
I have a decent man ass. No homo. No homo. Even though it's Pride Month. No disrespect.